Hello, everybody. It's Randy Hilarski coming at you from Panama City, Panama, with an emergency broadcast message. Whoa. Make taxation theft again. I cannot believe what I just saw. Blue Bomb, the Hexagon, what's up, guys? What the hell are these Americans doing? What the fuck are they thinking? Talk about taking a baseball bat to the kneecaps of an emerging technology. These guys have no clue what they're doing. Some of you guys might not even know what I'm talking about right now. But there was a tweet that just came out by Ted Cruz. I'm no fan of Ted Cruz. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I don't even freaking care. But there's a tweet that just came out discussing the law that they're trying to put in, just shove across, hey, Brand, trying to shove across the desk to force everyone into their taxation. It's so funny because I was wearing this t-shirt tonight. And I was just watching Dollar Cost Crypto and Cultivate Crypto show, and DCC just announced it and said, hey guys, look, this just came out. I'm fucking pissed. Not because I'm an American, all right? I'm pissed because this is going to hurt crypto. This is going to slow down the growth of one of the best emerging technologies known to man. All right. Every one of you should care about this. I saw that Richard Hart tweeted about it the other day, saying that everyone should call their senators. I'm sure many of you guys did. I didn't because, I live in another country now. And I care about what happens here, not much there. So in honor, I made my Bitcoin light red because I have a feeling we're going to get a little bit of a sell-off in the next 24 to 48 hours if this thing continues to go through. I don't know what you guys are thinking about it, but this is really pissing me off. All right, Food TV, what's up? Got Brand here. All right, so let me pull up that tweet so you guys can see it. I'm actually going to go over to Twitter. It says, I'm sorry. I have to go to my profile because I retweeted it. It says, crypto got screwed tonight. There's a partisan disagreement on spending, so Dems objected to all further amendments. That means no vote on Wyden Loomis to lessen the damage this bill will do to crypto, and no vote on the Cruz amendment to repeal the new crypto rules altogether. The result, the Senate's going to inflict billions of dollars of damage on the growing and exciting crypto industry and drive much of it overseas. There aren't 5 senators who understand much of anything about crypto. No shit. Bunch of dinosaurs. What the Senate said tonight, let's tax the hell out of something we know nothing about so we can pass a giant bill we haven't read and spend the American people's money on stuff we can't afford. It's reckless and harmful. Oh, man. Can anyone explain what the fuck they're doing up north? Seriously. Anthropos says there's still potential for amendments and lawsuits. I'm not convinced it's all hopeless yet. Yeah, F the Senate. Yeah, you're right, Anthropos. You're right. But there's no reason. Okay, this is an infrastructure bill. This is the problem with my former country. How do you put a taxation bill in with an infrastructure bill, especially when these people don't read the documents they're putting forth to be voted on? These are the kind of things that forced me to leave the country. Why I never want to live there again. As far as I'm concerned, democracy is broken. Yes, I won't get philosophical here, what I think is the best way. I'm just thinking, right now, democracy is broken. If you can pass stuff that's like this stacked this high with 10,000 pages and don't even read it, there's something wrong. I'm pissed. Because this doesn't just affect you assholes up there up north, right? It affects the whole world. And what Ted Cruz said is right. The technology is going to move out of the United States into other countries. You guys understand that? If they stifle the growth of crypto in the United States, all the further development is going to happen elsewhere, including here in Panama, which I don't mind. Panama is a gray zone country. They don't care about crypto. They just let it go. Grow, grow, grow. Bring money into Panama. That's what they care about. That's smart, man. That's how it works. You see all these big old, well, you can't see it because it's nighttime, but all these huge buildings around Panama. You know where that came from, right? That came from a country south of us. They don't care where the money comes from. Just bring it here. That's why Panama is the banking center of Central and South America. Man, I'm fucking pissed. Graphene, welcome, buddy. Stifling growth of a whole tech sector because you want your little slice when you can go print as many decimals in your system at the Fed or at the Department of the Treasury whenever you want is fucking stupid. Stifling growth. Yeah, Brand. Think about it, man. If you tax something in its infancy and you destroy it in its infancy and you have no motivations to grow it, that's going to push people elsewhere. Our ancestors, I'm speaking as an American right now, our ancestors left other countries for financial opportunities, or at least mine did, for financial opportunities in the United States in the late 1800s. My family was already wealthy before they came to the US. They were candy makers. They came, they opened a small business in upstate New York, Rochester. It's called the Rochester Candy Company. And they brought marshmallows, chocolates, Belgian chocolates, all that kind of stuff with them. It was an amazing opportunity for my family. They bought up land. They did a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, the 1920s took it all away. But that's how my family built their initial wealth. And when they came to the US, it was through innovation, owning farm, and owning a candy business, being the people that brought marshmallows to the United States. I know it sounds so trivial today, but back then marshmallows were a big deal. Believe me. Yes, Food TV, you're right. A black market is coming. I am a fan of black markets. I've got no problem with them, right? The free market is a black market, right? Regulated markets are always stifled. And that's what we're seeing in the US right now. What is wrong with these people? I think it's because politicians, every single one of them, there's not one good politician in my opinion. I loved Ron Paul back in the day. He's the one that put me down the path that I'm on today. But I don't believe in my heart that there's any such thing as a good politician. These people all want power and they all want to put their mark on something. And these senators want to put their mark on crypto. And they know nothing about it. Oh, it's money laundering money. Motherfuckers, didn't we just put Wachovia? Didn't that get busted for laundering tons of money back in 2008, 2009? Didn't Bank of America get busted for laundering billions of dollars? The money that they laundered is multiples times higher than any crypto that's ever been done. If the cartels and these other illegal, illicit activities that they do, if they ever really use crypto, the prices of Bitcoin will be skyrocketing, right? Or price of Monero, price of Pirate Chain, and these other privacy coins. They will go through the roof if they ever really figured it out. I live in a gray zone country. They have not figured it out yet. They're still packing cars full of cash and taking it across the border. That's how they do it still. Freaking archaic. I don't know. What's the price of Food TV's asking, is that why people are selling Hex? Well, that news just came out. That tweet by Ted Cruz, let's pull that up again, was 9:29 p.m. my time. So an hour and 20 minutes ago. So people were selling hex before that. People are just taking profits, guys. Don't worry about hex. People are just taking profits. Let's look at Staker app. I haven't pulled it up. Oh yeah, 12 cents. Look, guys, we are so high in hex right now. The price is so, if you guys, I was not one of those people that was buying in January and February of 2020. Okay. I bought mine in December of 2019, and then I bought again starting in March of 2020. So I missed that really big dip, but I know there's a bunch of people that were getting 1 Ethereum for almost 2 million hex. I was not one of them. So imagine you bought 100 Ethereum worth. At the time, Ethereum was only 120, 130, 140 dollars, something like that. So if it was 140 bucks, you're talking about 14 grand. Netted you, I don't know. Let me do the math. Let's not be stupid here. Let me do the math. Let's say we're just going to round it up to 2 million, right? Because that's 200. Be 200 million hex. You would have picked up for $14,000 times 0.12, $24 million. That's what you would have right now if you bought sometime in January and February when the hex price was at its lowest on the adoption amplifier. Yes, and that was before the self-refer. Exactly. I always used Hexologist referral code once I learned about the referral codes. I never self-referred once. I should have. That was a costly mistake. But hey, you know, he did a good job there, and he kept me focused. And from March until the big payday, I have to give him those credits, even though Hexologist and I don't see eye to eye. I'll give him credit where credit is due. Yeah, and imagine there's a lot of people that also had the referral code, and they were making a lot of hex and referral code. Personally, we did about 1.8 million in referral money because I wrote 3 articles for hex in that first 6-month period, and my referral code was each and every one of those articles, and I ended up getting about 1.8 million hex. That's amazing. So you do the math today, you're talking about almost 200 grand worth of hex just from referral codes. I know some people got a lot more than that. Oh my God. So let's get back to the subject at hand. What do we do? I don't talk about taxes. I'm not worried about taxes. It's not something that's a priority for me to discuss because I got my sugar mama. She takes care of me. All of our accounts in her name, But there's those of you guys that are out there that would like to move. And Blue Bum says, so what specific rule is going to hinder Hex or Pulse? It's not about hindering Hex or Pulse. It's hindering the whole sector, hindering the whole crypto sector. When you start taxation, you'll have brain drain, and the brain drain will move to better pastures. There's a saying that Nomad Capitalist says, you go where you're treated best. And I know a lot of these devs and a lot of people who are in crypto will leave the US as soon as they sense that their industry is under attack. People have already doing it. Look at all of our Hexicans that looking to go to Puerto Rico because of the tax benefits. To me, that's like putting a Band-Aid on a wound, right? Speaking nurse talk here, you're just putting a temporary fix because that Band-Aid could be yanked off tomorrow because you're still within the confines of that government's rules, right? Not the state of Puerto Rico, but whatever it's called. It could be a state, but I can't remember, protected, whatever. When you got one of you guys will know what Puerto Rico is, just like some of the other islands out there in the Pacific. If they decide to change the rule at any given time, or if the U.S. government pressures them, the feds pressure them to change the rule, they're going to bend over. They're going to do it. It's just how governments work. Can't trust them. So you go where you're treated best. I moved to Panama. I came here to Panama with $3,000 in my back. I worked my ass off for 3 years to build up our business. And then crypto came along and it changed everything. But some of you guys are already wealthy now because crypto did that for you. And now it's your chance to get the fuck out of Dodge. We have a book with Dollar Vigilante. It's called Get Out of Dodge. And it's about getting your gold and silver out of the continental US and going to safer areas like Singapore, for example, putting in a storage in Singapore, or here in Panama at the old Howard Air Force Base, we have a vault. And there's other countries. Switzerland's another one that you can use for a vault. And then I think the one here in Panama, my friend Mike Brown, my former partner, he's got those Faraday cages as well for crypto. So you could put a hardware wallet inside of a Faraday cage, just in case there's a nuclear blast or those kind of things, and it wipes out the electronic systems. But as long as your stuff is in a Faraday cage, it won't destroy the chip. So you'll always be able to, once everything comes back online, you'll be able to access your crypto because it's on the blockchain. As long as one computer around the world is running, your stuff will still be there. Or one computer with the blockchain is still up and running. So I'm telling you guys, these fuckers don't mess around. They want each and every penny. Instead of just printing, doing like turning on their money printer and going burr, they're going to screw you. They don't need to tax you, right? They do it to keep you in submission. And crypto and hacks and Ethereum, everything is giving us so much liberty and freedom over the last decade that they now need to put their boot on your head to keep you in submission. My recommendation is to avoid getting that boot put on your head. Get out while you still can. I know there's many people like my friend Heidi and her husband Toby. They were both American citizens. They both renounced. They did it a couple years ago. And I don't know what island, can't remember what island nation they got their passports through, but they did. They went, they paid for it. I think it was $100,000 each. Maybe it was $100,000 for Heidi, then $50,000 for Toby. I think because they're married, they got a discount because they did too. But other countries are welcoming, guys. Yeah, Vermilion Bert Hex says Hexicans buying Lambos and Rolexes should be buying bunkers. I mean, that's an option, right? But you're still within the continental US. That scares the shit out of me. Maybe I've been amongst paranoid people for so long that I cannot accept living there any longer. Plus, there's a story I haven't told you guys. My son was denied his U.S. visa to enter the country. And the reason they gave, and I never knew about this rule, the reason that they said this was because I am an American citizen. My son cannot enter the U.S. without a U.S. passport. I said, motherfucker. I was so pissed. And I didn't even go in. It was my wife. She's the one that handled the visa application. And in that little box, it says the father of the child, and they had to put my name in and the nationality of the child. And so I was American. And I said, well, he can't do that. He can't enter the U.S. So my son has never seen his grandparents because we've never been able to enter the U.S. with my 3.5-year-old. Do I have a chip on my shoulder? Hell fucking yeah. So Blue Bone says, what do you think of Portugal? Great country. That's actually where Heidi and Toby live. But I don't like Portugal. I've been there. Okay. For me, look at me. I'm a chunky guy, man. I like food. Even though I'm a intermittent fasting guy, I still like to go out and have food that I like. And I wasn't impressed with the food in Lisbon, at least. Maybe out on the ocean, maybe it'll have some better stuff, but I didn't really like it. I like Spain more, but Spain is, if you think the US, guys, is pretty bad about taxes, Spain is terrible. Stay the fuck away from Spain. If you need to know more about good places to check out Nomad Capitalist. He is our man. He is a crypto guy. He understands these things. he's probably the best knowledge base for what countries to move to. He's got a house in Malaysia, he's got a house in Colombia, and I think he has one in Georgia, Tbilisi, if I remember correctly. And I think he has a house in Montenegro. So there's lots of places you can go. And I like the places that have digital nomad visas too. So you can go test it for 6 months or maybe a year and see if you like it. Panama's launching a digital nomad visa. Czech Republic has a digital nomad visa. Germany has one. It's a little bit difficult to get in Germany. Estonia, I think one of the islands just set one up. It's not Bermuda. I think it's Barbados. They're launching one. You can go spend a year there and see if you like living on the islands. So Vermilion says, not very patriotic leaving Dodge. I'll be fighting for my country. Yeah, I mean, everyone has that choice, man. I'm just not willing to die for mine. I did that. I made that choice when I was 17, when I was young and naive, and I wore the uniform for 7 years, and I gave up mine. That's enough for me. Changing the hearts, no pun intended, and minds of our police and military is all we need to do. Yeah. Yo, Randy, so what's the scenario looking like for us in the States from now for the next 15 years? I'm pissed. That's what, dude. Once they take, they never give back. Haven't we learned that lesson? Once they take one of your rights, they never give it back. Or they give it back partially and say, oh, look what we did for you. But you still got part of that yoke on your back, man. Joey Pulotti says, how do you decide if leaving the tyranny is worth giving up close relationships with friends and family? Look, man, that was difficult. But for me, it was very limited. It was my mom and dad, right? Simple. And I mean, my brother was living somewhere else at the time. I think he was in Virginia. So I haven't seen my brother since, I don't know, 2008. That's life, right? My best friend, last time I saw him, he actually came to Panama in 2012 and came to visit. So it depends on, I guess, your psychology, right? Are you a person that has lots of friends and family and you feel empty without them? Or are you really independent type like me who go wherever I go, I make new friends and family? It's my tribe, right? My tribe is you guys, my Hex family, and my tribe is also my anarchist and anarcho-capitalist family, which is, my good friend Jeff Berwick, and some of the other guys in our community. They're amazing. And anytime I need to talk to somebody, I have a Telegram group so I can go into, and if I really need to, I can say, hey, can I have a call? Not feeling good today. Do you mind if we have a little chat? And that's about as good as it gets for me, right? I was just telling my wife today, I reconnected with a friend, a crypto friend of mine he set up a homestead up near the Costa Rica border, and he's raising chickens. He's got, I think 3 hectares, which is, I think about 7 acres, growing all kinds of fruit trees and stuff up there. And we hadn't spoken and since 2018. He had split with his then girlfriend. They had a child, and she went back to the States, but he stayed here and ended up settling down with a Panamanian girl. Hey Joe, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I'm doing great, brother. So, I just thought maybe he was mad at me too because I was still friends with his ex. So he reached out to me, and I tell you, it made me feel great because here is somebody that I worked closely with. I'm not going to tell you who it is because you'll be able to figure it out real quick if I gave you some clues. But he reached out, and we've been chatting back and forth, using Signal. For those of you guys out there using encrypted messaging, get rid of your WhatsApp and all that crazy shit that Facebook owns. So I chatted with him. I said, you know what? I said, I'm preparing. I'll show you. I bought one of these. I don't know if any of you guys got one of these. It's called a Jackery. It's a backup battery, right? This will charge my computer up 4 times. It'll charge up cell phones 10 times. And I got nice, solar panel kit that goes with this Jackery. You can get these on Amazon for pretty cheap, just in case things get bad. And it was so funny that when this guy reached out to me, and the fact that he's homesteading, and we got to chatting, and here am I, I'm stocking up on seeds, buying solar panels, fixed up my truck. My truck was in storage for a year when we were in Mexico. So when we came back, my tires were flat, my battery was dead. I needed to change my spark plugs, my oil. I needed to do all those things. Spent about $1,500 to get her back on the road, and I was just thinking, you know what? I'm just going to get everything ready. Everything I think that could possibly happen, we're going to get it now because who knows? I'm going to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole here, guys. I'm a conspiracy theorist, but when you call me a conspiracy theorist and everything I've been saying over the last couple of years is coming true, when do we stop being conspiracy theorists? Oh, man. So we're preparing, and we're after the Cyber Polygon event was announced. I don't know if you guys saw that happen. It was in July 2nd or 3rd. It's the same people, the World Economic Forum, the same people that did the event. I think it was in September, October of 2019, that did the whole war game scenario about what was coming for the CV. I won't say it out loud because I don't want YouTube to take down my channel. So these people did this whole event just a couple weeks ago. And it was about cyber attacks and taking down the energy systems, the water systems, internet, and all these kind of things. Well, I'm not stupid. These people always telegraph what they're going to do. So I said to myself, okay, it's time to start stocking up on things just in case it gets really bad. So we went and spent a couple grand on food that lasts a while. I recommend all of you guys do it as well. Get your seeds, find a place that you can bug out to. My friend offered his homestead on the Costa Rican border. So it's in Panama still, so I can go up there. And Graphie says, great hex into a fork. Yeah, okay, we're talking about hex and pulse. I'll get there. So he's up there and he says, Randy, if anything goes down, drive up here. And it's about a 5.5 hour drive from where I live. So I'm just saying that those kind of connections, right now, the connections that you're going to need are the ones in your local area. Pay attention to those. Because Cyber Polygon, these motherfuckers aren't, the World Economic Forum, they're not fucking around, guys. I'm seeing reports of farmers all across the country destroying their crops, being forced to destroy their crops. And this just isn't the US, this is also in Canada. This is happening in Australia. This is happening in the United States. It seems like all the countries that were former British colonies, they're doing this crazy shit. And they're not doing it here. Right? And Panama's self-sufficient. We don't even need to import any food here. Everything's grown here. We got our own cattle. We're one of the biggest exporters in the world for beef. And, most of it goes to China. It's crazy, but it's true. And, here I'm not too worried. I could walk down the street in the jungle and I could pick papayas. We got mangoes. My family can eat it. I can't. I'm allergic. But, Marañón, which is cashews, and the fruit that Marañón comes on is edible. It's like an apple. There's so many fruits and vegetables that are just everywhere around here. It just blows my mind. There's wild banana trees everywhere, plantains. It's pretty cool. Graphene says, we're going to need new conspiracies running low as they keep coming true. Exactly. Vermilion says, use of force on the public is not as necessary as it once was. It will be used to nudge you, and your neighbors will support this force if they disagree with you. Absolutely. And that's what we're seeing. I saw a PhD mentioned the other day. Henry, what's up? I saw a PhD mentioned the other day that this guy on Twitter, and he said, look, we need to force these people to comply. And I'm like, oh, force. I mean, that sounds like Nazi Germany. Since what happened to my body, my choice? Seriously. Oh, man. Look, guys, there's a lot of things I wish I could say, but I just can't. All right. There's some reasons about reasons that I cannot say everything I wish to say, but I will. I will come to the edge right before I jump off the cliff. But what happened tonight with the U.S. government, and I'm going to show this one more time just in case you guys are. I mean, there's some of you guys that came in late. Let me read it one more time. Ted Cruz says, crypto got screwed tonight. There's a partisan disagreement on spending, so Dems objected to all further amendments. That means no vote on Wyden and Loomis, I don't even know what that was, to lessen the damage this bill will do to crypto, and no vote on the Cruz amendment to repeal the new crypto rules altogether. The result, the Senate's going to inflict billions of dollars of damage on the growing and exciting crypto industry and drive much of it overseas. There are 5 senators who understand much of anything about crypto. What the Senate said tonight, let's tax the hell out of something we know nothing about so we can pass a giant bill we haven't read and spend the American people's money on stuff we can't afford. It's reckless and harmful. Damn straight, Ted. Never liked you, man. But once in a while, you know, a blind man, he gets it right. Motherfucker got it right this time. Oh, man. Yeah, please, guys. Please give me some likes. It helps the algo, even though I'm not a person that live streams much. I don't know, I think it was about a month ago last time I actually did a full live stream. But I decided this is something that's near and dear to my heart. All right, guys. This is one of the reasons why I left the United States, is because I could see the writing on the wall. But when I left in 2011, there was no crypto. I mean, yes, there was. Bitcoin was in its infancy, but I knew nothing about it. I learned about Bitcoin. I moved here in May of 2011. I learned about Bitcoin probably July. My partner on the way into work one day, he said to me, "Hey, have you heard about Bitcoin?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I saw an article yesterday or something like that." And I had just read an article. We were in gold and silver. I was selling gold and silver to investors. So being in the gold and silver world, of course, I'm going to constantly hear news about Bitcoin. You know, you got Peter Schiff over there. Peter Schiff constantly talking shit. So nonstop, he was saying stuff. So Peter Schiff at the time was one of my heroes. And I remember it was 2011. Yeah, it was July 2011. I went to Freedom Fest in Las Vegas. I was running the booth for the gold and silver. And I remember that Peter Schiff was there. I'm always telling stories. And the guy I was there with, like, "Oh, Randy, oh man, you know Peter?" I'm like, "I only know Peter on Twitter. I don't know him in person." He goes, but you're an American. Could you please introduce him to me, and so I could take a picture with him?" I'm like, "Dude, okay." It's the kind of shit I do. I don't have problems with talking to people. So I walked up to Peter. I said, "Hey, Peter," I said, "my friend would like to take a picture with you. Is that okay?" He was like, such an asshole. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm like, "Motherfucker, I will knock your little ass out." I was so pissed. I was like, "You can talk to me that way?" I was like, just because you're some big wig in the gold and silver world doesn't mean you mean anything to me. Yeah, but at the time he was one of my heroes. I read his book, Dollar Collapse. I think I read it in 2006. And the stuff that he talked about in 2006 happened in 2008, and now it's getting even worse. And he said that in the book, that every time they do this, every time there's a collapse, it's just going to get worse. So it's just how it rolls. Brand says you got to turn on monetization. Actually, Brand, I don't want to. One, I don't need the money. Two, I don't want Google to put, the sites on my channel. That's the thing. I don't want them to give them a reason to pay attention to me. I'd rather stay under the radar, because my channel is connected to library/Odyssey. So all my videos, when they load within the next 24 hours, they load up. So they're on a decentralized channel, and then I put them on DTube later. If you guys aren't using those backups, do it. DTube takes your videos and puts them on the Steam blockchain. Then after that, you can load them on the Hive, which is also, it's a fork of Steam, so you can put it over there too, just to protect, to make sure your content is never taken down. They can't take it down if it's decentralized, guys. Graphene says, "I lived in Panama for several years. It's an adjustment, but it got a lot going for it." Yeah, man, it's gotten a lot better. When I was here in 2011, a lot of stuff was going on. It was busy. It was fun. The The party lifestyle was serious. Lots of casinos, and it was mostly the expats that were here were middle-aged guys my age and older with money that came down here to, you know what they do. It's because there's prostitution is legal here. The white powder you can get really, really, really cheap. So they come down here and just rent a yacht and pick up 5 or 6 girls and go out there on the water for a whole day for $1,000 or $2,000. So that was back in 2011, 2012. But now, ever since the Panama Papers, when George Soros came after Panama, I think that was in 2016, it might have been 2015, they destroyed the economy here. And then after that, it was the Zika virus, and all the tourism stopped because everyone was scared of getting Zika, dumbass motherfuckers watching TV. And I never heard of any case of that shit, but everyone was scared to come to Panama. And then after that, it was the whole CV thing, and Panama shut down the whole country for a year and a half. It was last October 2020 is when the flights people were starting to able to visit Panama, but you couldn't do anything. It didn't start opening up really good until about January. As many of you know, I left and went to Mexico. The day after the airport opened, my wife and I and my child, gone. We went to Acapulco. And then after that, we went to Mazatlan up in Sinaloa country. Enjoyed our time and came back to Panama after Mexico denied us. I'll get into that in a second. Let's see. Let me read. Talk to you later about this. Hopefully, you can send some crypto as a things. Oh, thanks, Brian. All right, Vermilion says, I do, and I'll put this, isn't it, that I'm having trouble paying attention and seeing what's real and what's FUD. Yeah, exactly. Bert Hex, in many states, you could get in serious legal trouble if you do that, and your neighbors will not help you. Tries to take your belongings, do it. Oh, okay, yeah, all about the arms thing. That's the whole thing. I love the Second Amendment in the U.S., but it all depends on what state you live in, right? Yeah, Brand, let's do an event here, man. I think we should. There's plenty of Hexicans who live in Central and South America who would love to come to an event, but they can't enter the U.S. John says, should I move to Panama with only 20K in the bank? Not now, man. There's no jobs. I mean, unless you have the the crypto divs. If you're a crypto guy and you've got your Hex, which is paying you the trustless interest, or you've got your stable coins and you're earning 20% a year, 30%, getting yield, or have an online income. Maybe you create NFTs and you're selling them. I don't know. You're like me, we were a social media team, so that's how we earned our income, and we lived well for multiple years off of about $3,000 a month. When I first got into Bitcoin in 2016, that's what we were earning, and we were living very well here at Panama at $3,000 a month. Our rent at the time, I think, was $450, so that puts it in perspective, and our truck was paid off. So those are the kind of things you got to look at. Right now, Panama, they made it more difficult for moving down here. They used to have a really cool visa program. You only need about 10 grand to do that, and you can stay here permanently. Well, that's gone as of probably August 15th. It's coming up. It's gone. You can't even do it anymore. So now you need about 200 grand to buy a property or invest it, deposit it in the bank, and that's how they allow you to stay here for longer than a tourist visa. So a tourist visa for an American or a Canadian or European is 6 months. So you're going to have to, if you do that, you can move here, but you're going to have to do border runs every 6 months. And that means going to Costa Rica or flying down to Colombia for a couple of days and then coming back to Panama. So that gets expensive. I mean, especially for people that have limited incomes. You can fly to Colombia from here for $150. Not bad at all. Either to Medellin or to Bogota. About you defending your home with arms. So people are talking about their arming themselves. It's just a wise thing to do. Wish we could just buy our own island and all move there. Damn straight, Randy. We got lots of islands for sale here in Panama. The problem is that you have to make sure that the property is deeded correctly. There was problems back in the late 2009, 10, 11, where there was people selling properties that weren't deeded properly, and you didn't find out till after you did your deposit and you're trying to get your paperwork for your property, and you go in like, oh, this is owned by somebody else. The person that sold it to you, they just gave you a fake deed. That's the kind of stuff that happens. You got to be really careful. Go skiing in Colombia for a few days and come back. I don't think there's any skiing in Colombia. I mean, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's all rainforest. You guys are fighting about guns. Come on, guys. No need to fight. Lifestyle. If you can convince your employer to let you work remote, it's a good play. I was able to do that. Damn straight. Do it. If you can go work remotely, and this is one thing I'm going to say. If you're new to living as an expat, go somewhere that's more like where you come from. And a good option is Panama because, that street right down there, 5-minute walk from my house, I got Burger King, Little Caesars, McDonald's, Wendy's, Carl's Jr., Taco Bell. It's all right there on the main road. Domino's Pizza. There's three casinos a 5-minute walk from my house. I mean, I got on my street. I live on what would be considered, it's called Via Argentina, and that's all bars, right? Not nightclubs, but bars and restaurants. So I walk downstairs and they're all around me. So it's a really good place to live. And the ladies of the night are everywhere around here too. Not that I take part in that because I have my beautiful wife, Annabelle. Hi, baby. Oh, man. How cheap in Panama compared to Costa Rica? Well, Weber, Costa Rica is expensive compared to Panama because they have very high taxes. Panama is much cheaper. And because of the collapse due to the recent lockdowns and all that, the real estate prices, rental and buying, have come down in Panama, but rental especially. My apartment that we live in, and it's gorgeous. We got a rooftop pool. If you guys watch my rooftop musings, we pay $950. The rental for this actual apartment, this area, this building used to be $1,500 a year and a half ago. So the prices have come down a lot. And then if you look at electricity, I think our bills are running anywhere between $30 and $40 a month. We got 600, our speed, we have fiber optic. So our download speed is 600, our upload speed is only 10, but that's why I'm looking at my, here on StreamYard, sometimes it tells you when there's a warning that your bandwidth is down. I'm plugged in directly and I'm still dropping below that 10. So if you have any glitch on my stream, that's why. But our internet's, I think, $45, $50. Phones, $20 a month, unlimited everything. So car insurance, we have a 2013 Volkswagen T1. I think I pay $250 a year for everything. Health insurance is going to run you $100 to $150 a month. You can just use the public system and just pay cash. If you're young, you get away with that. But with me, and I have a child, so I want to have some insurance. Even though my wife and son are both Panamanians, they get free health care. And I can actually go to the public hospital as well. When I broke my wrist, I had a tragic hammock accident and snapped my wrist once. I went to the hospital and it cost me $7 to get it cast and everything. So back then we didn't have much money, so we didn't have an option of going to the private system. But it all worked out, right? The guys are having a big old conversation. They're killer at Photoshop. Yeah, Joe does make some really good images. I can't feel my face when I'm with you. My 2-year-old daughter loves that song, Daddy Back. What the hell are you guys talking about? FGRPO says, thanks for sharing the info about living in Panama City. Just went through the Friendly Nations visa. Oh, shit, FGR. You got in there right before the door closed, huh? It closes this week. Vermilion says Malta. I lived in Sicily for 3 years. That's just north of Malta. It's too damn hot, man. I'm not a desert guy. I like humidity in the air. My wife, she was complaining so much when we were living in Mexico because it was during the dry season, and our skin we were just turning into freaking raisins, man. I felt like I aged a bunch of years living in Acapulco just because there was no humidity whatsoever. And being in the sun, there were always clear skies during the dry season. And then we went to Mazatlan, which was actually in the desert. And man, we were baking, man. So that totally reminded me of my days living in Sicily. I lived in Catania, which is, it's about a 30-minute flight. Yeah, about 30-minute flight to Malta, because I used to always use Malta Airlines, and that's how I would get around Europe, as I'd fly them. Blue Bum says, what's your top 10 places to move to? Well, I do love Italy, but northern Italy. The Cinque Terre, Torino, anywhere in Tuscany is really cool because you still have the you get touristy stuff going on. So there's lots of visitors, which is really neat because then you get to meet new people, right? Unless you're a country bumpkin and you want to go live in the country, then you could live real cheap in Italy. Then the only thing is, is the internet going to be good? My family is from the coast, just south of Torino, and an area called Chiavari, and gorgeous, right near the Cinque Terre. So if you guys have ever looked at Cinque Terre, it's actually really pretty. I would rather go there than go to the Amalfi Coast. I spent lots of time in southern Italy. I actually like the northern part better. It's more green. People are I thought they were friendlier, even though but once you're in the south, you're in. That's how it works down there. Once someone brings you into the circle, it's great. But up north, it's more of people just overall more friendly because they're used to tourists and those kind of things. But the Cinque Terre is a great place to check out. Okay, so that was Italy. Czech Republic, that's where we were going to move to before this whole thing hit. We were only about 4 months away from making the move. We were just waiting for our lease to end on our apartment, and we were going to actually move to Europe. They have a great friendly nations, not friendly nation. What's it called? Visitors visa or digital nomad visa in Czech Republic. So we're going to move to Prague. Yeah, Joe, that's right. Prague. It's spectacular. And the cool thing about Prague is you can take a train and be in Vienna in 4 hours. And then 4 hours the other way, you're in, what's it called? The capital of Hungary. I can't remember, but it's 4 hours away. So another 4 hours north was Berlin. So it was like right in the center, and you had those three major cities right there. So we were in love. We've been to Prague twice. We got friends that live there. My friend Mike Patel, founder of Ediswap, he lives in Prague. My good friend Peter Spina, goldseek.com, he lives in Prague with his wife Vanessa. They still live there. They were really cool, and they've been great to us. And whenever we visited, we spent a lot of time with them. So I had friends. So Prague made sense. But the only problem was the apartments are so small. The rents are really cheap. You can get a place for like $500, but tiny. Remember, these houses are, 600-700 years old, a lot of them. Hey, David Black's here. Hey, brother, glad all is well down there. I wish nomad capitalists and others would talk about which countries to go to avoid the medical tyranny. Yeah, I agree. Panama, actually, it's not to call the Senate, but they actually came out with a law saying, or they're trying to put in a law saying that it's going to be illegal to force anybody to do anything here. So for now, that gives us hope. Oh yeah, Budapest. Buda is one side of the river. Pest is the other side. Weber says, did you renounce your U.S. citizenship? No, I have not. I have discussed it with my wife. I have no plans of ever returning. So it would make sense for me to do that when the time is right. I do qualify for my full my full Panama citizenship. I just haven't done the paperwork. I've qualified for the last 3 years, and I get a passport out of that as well. Bree says, what about British Virgin Islands or Dominican Republic for Hexaco? Yeah, Dominican Republic, out of the two, I'd probably choose Dominican Republic just because you're not under the boot, right? Not under the Queen's boot. So I'd probably go with Dominican Republic there. I know Jeff Berwick, one of my clients, he got his citizenship in Dominican Republic. What's another good one? Obviously, Mexico. Mexico's a great place to go to. Uh, like I was saying earlier, it's similar to Panama, where you almost feel like you're in the U.S. because there's so many things that you're used to that are there. Right. I don't recommend anywhere in Western Europe except for Portugal. That's at the far tip, right? Forget Spain. Cheap to live, but man, they are assholes when it comes to taxes. The UK, I mean, it's up to you guys. I'm just, I don't want to go anywhere that the Queen has any way, any power over me. France, if you guys have seen, France has got a lot of problems. They got so many issues. Germany's got, they're having some issues as well. We did spend a lot of time there. We've been to Berlin, and a lot different than it was when I lived in Europe back in the 90s. I would go up to Frankfurt often, Kaiserslautern, there was an army base there, so I would just fly in to Frankfurt. I bought my Volkswagen up there, my GTI, and I drove it back down to Italy. I just don't recommend it. Austria is phenomenal. If you guys want to check out a good place, they actually have a good visa as well. Then there's the former Eastern Bloc countries that are really good to check out. Bulgaria. I don't think Romania has a visa, but anything in that area is looking pretty good. Now, the former Yugoslavian republics, Croatia, North Macedonia, Montenegro, there's another, Bosnia, those countries. Now, that's great because most of those aren't even in the EU. So you can bounce back and forth to the European Union really well. So what is the one? Serbia, right? Serbia has a really good program too. So you could live in Serbia and then you could fly up to Europe. And Europe, within the Schengen area, you're only allowed to stay for 6 months. I'm talking American, Canadian right now. I don't know about other countries, but America and the United States and Canada, they have a 6-month visa. So you can go to Serbia, set up shop, get an apartment for really cheap, and then you can go spend, a couple weeks at a time in Europe, right? In the main Schengen area, which you can go to Paris and spend a week there, then fly back. So you don't have any issues. And that way you won't even need to get a digital nomad visa in Czech Republic if you don't want to, because that's going to be a little bit stressful. You're going to get a lot of paperwork and all that kind of stuff done and show proof of income and all that. But I've heard great stories about Serbia. My friend Mike Patel, he just got back from Serbia and from Montenegro, and I think he's been about 4 months down there, and he actually lives in Prague. So good options there. I don't know much about Asia. I'm not going to comment too much about it. Excuse me. But people have said great things about Malaysia and Indonesia. Thailand, I don't know. Cheap, right? But I don't know anything about, I've never been. So my brother spent 6 months there, but I never did. Yeah, Joe says Amalfi looks so sick. Exactly. But if you don't like having thousands and thousands of tourists around, then check out the Cinque Terre. Okay. Thanks for all this you do and share. You're a real deal anarchist, and I'm past. Yeah, thank you, Hex Monkey. I'm trying, man. I'm trying to wake up everybody that things are not all good. We got to take care of our own. I mean, we all have resources around us that we can tap into, and I'm your resource when it comes to being an expat and digital nomad, guys. I've been doing it for 10 years, so been around the block. And if I don't know it, I know people that have. Yeah, Vermilion says you're all worried about your crypto. Need to worry about those vaccines being pushed. Yeah. Please, YouTube, don't take down the video. Kat G says, if I could get an Italian passport, what benefits could I get from that? Now, the great thing about Italian passport, it's also an EU passport, so you never have to leave the Schengen area if you don't want to. Once again, Schengen area is the main Western European countries, France, Germany, Belgium, Spain, Czech Republic, Portugal, Austria, Poland, all those main countries there, Estonia, they're all part of the EU Schengen area. So you're allowed to stay for 6 months. But if you get an Italian passport, you can stay permanently. You don't have to leave. That's why one of the big things I talk about is the old Soviet or the Yugoslavian republics. You can actually stay there and just bounce into the EU. That's great. New Zealand, I don't know much about, but I know all the billionaires are building bunkers there, which is named who's one of the founder of PayPal? He wrote that book, 0 to 1. Yeah, Swearwork says Cinque Terre. I'm telling you, man, it's a great place to go to. Peter Thiel, he's got a house and bunker in New Zealand. A lot of the billionaires, that's where they're going because it's so far from everything, right? And it's its own little area. I've got some friends that live in New Zealand. I have a good friend on the Dollar Vigilante team with me. He's from New Zealand, and he swears by it. He says it's a great place to be. But yeah, everyone's saying Peter Thiel. But for me, I'm not interested. I just don't want to. I don't want to live down there. I would love to go visit, but I don't want to live there. I actually like very humid and hot weather. So I guess somewhere like Malaysia, in Asia, Malaysia, Thailand, or Indonesia would work for me. And obviously anywhere here in Central America and Northern South America. So Colombia, Venezuela. I know people think I'm nuts by saying Venezuela, but mark my words, Venezuela is going to bounce back. Once they get rid of these assholes in government, it's going to come back. And right now you can get a penthouse for a couple $1,000s. I have a friend that he bought, this is 2018. So he took some profits from crypto and was buying a bunch of stuff. And this guy had thousands of Bitcoins. So he bought a penthouse in downtown Caracas for half a Bitcoin or so. He's looking forward. I mean, he's seeing the future, just like I'm seeing the future, that Venezuela will recover and come back to maybe not its former self while I'm still alive, but later on down the road, it will recover. It will be a paradise once again. That's where it works. So swam with the dolphins. Absolutely. Yeah. Into the fire. My main man. Good morning. Our friends in Australia are waking up. Yeah. Do not go to Australia right now. It's crazy. Vermilion says that, yeah, exactly. That's going to be an issue in a lot of places. Panama just made it legal again to own firearms, but you have to be a citizen. You can't be a resident. You actually have to have citizenship. Anthropos says Canadian here looking for a new home, was considering a Caribbean passport. Yeah, I mean, check out the interview that Heidi Chakos did with Nomad Capitalist. She did that. I mean, even though she's an American, that's what she did. Hex Monkey says, who here has read Atlas Shrugged? Amazing how much of that is coming true. And intrusive state, crumbling infrastructure, folks with capital and brains leaving. Yeah, man. Absolutely. People are just bouncing. Everyone I know who has a little bit of money, and someone said earlier, what can you do with 20 grand? Man, you could live in Mexico for 2 years on 20 grand. and then find a way to make money while you're there. Yeah, John says Australia is the model for all Western countries. I think Australia and Canada are running neck and neck right now of what could happen if people stop fighting for their rights. Look, I'm an American. I'm living abroad. I'm doing this live stream because I'm pissed. Even though I'm not fighting, I'm not protesting on the streets, I can protest on the internet. And this is my form of protesting. Someone made a comment within our Hex community the other day that said, "Oh, I'm tired of seeing all these this chatter on Twitter about the jab. I'm gonna mute anybody who I follow that talks about the jab. I'm tired of hearing about it." Since when do these people who want to force us to do things care about whether you're tired of hearing about something or not? That just made no sense to me. Stand up for your rights. Fight for your rights. whether it's vocally or getting out in the streets and protesting. You got to do something. Yeah, you always got to fight for your right to party. Here in Panama, I can't say anything. I'm not a citizen yet. They will boot me from the country. All right. My wife, when her aunt was paralyzed from the neck down after she got the jab, she was in the hospital for about 2 months. And I said to my wife, I said, why doesn't the family say something? Oh, we don't want to get in trouble. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? They're not saying anything here about any of it. They won't report any of the negative things that happen. It's only the good stuff. That's all they want to report. Oh man, it's maddening. Free speech, Randy, screaming that this is dangerous. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I totally believe in free speech. One thing I'm going to say about my country, my adopted country, is that free speech. Someone was saying recently some anti things about the government, and they just grabbed him. Took him in and had a little talk with him. He's free, but they took him in and had a little talk. And the same thing happens up north. I want to tell a personal story, but I can't. So I've been asked to be less abrasive on the internet. Okay. We do have a moral obligation to stop the genocide of countless millions. At least don't let them make you self-censor. Yep. John says, I'm a lifelong libertarian, now more of an anarcho-capitalist. I also work in mental health, relate to your views a lot. Yeah. John, I don't know if you know that I was a psych nurse, mental health counselor. I worked as a mental health counselor up in New York State, and then I was in Florida for a couple of years, and I worked as a psych nurse down there too. Loved it. That was the most of my 12 years working in healthcare. Those 3 years when I worked in mental health were by far the most rewarding. The 7 years on the military, you're just working with healthy people, so it wasn't too rewarding, except for my emergency stuff, as an EMT and all that. But mental health was so important to me. I loved it. Absolutely, man. I have so many good memories of the crazy shit that happened on those wards. You get a couple beers in me, and I can be the life of the party telling stories. You guys know me, I'm Mr. Storyteller. Yeah, so for those of you guys who don't know what an anarcho-capitalist is, it means it's just an anarchist, somebody who believes no rulers. We don't have it. We don't need any rulers, that we can make our own decisions. And then the capitalist side is that, we're about, it's okay to make money. We support what you guys call what the government calls black markets. I call them a free market. Crypto, one of the big reasons why I got into crypto and I loved it is because I believe in free markets. And crypto's been spectacular for my family. Not just me and my wife, but my extended family as well. They've done very well. I've gotten a bunch of people into Hex. I think I've onboarded people I know personally, about 40. And I have no idea the impact of all the articles I wrote in 2020. And I wrote one in 2019. But those articles had hundreds of thousands of views on Crypto Daily. And I was the only one writing about Hex at that time. I think the only other articles were negative ones. And when you would do a search for Hex on the front page, it was those negative ones and my articles sprinkled in. And then the videos that Richard was doing, Hexo was doing, the interviews, like the one Richard did with Heidi Chacos, they ranked well. But back then, I was the only one using any SEO techniques to rank anything for Hex. So did pretty well. Kachi said, Randy always has great stories. Yeah, man. I love telling stories. Vermilion says, if fucking Soros can pay his protesters to march against their own good, why can't we get a march going to fight for our own financial sovereignty? Why not, guys? Sounds like a good plan to me. Man, seriously. Let's go back why I did the whole stream. We are at the cusp of a financial revolution. Putting a boot on something that is growing so fast and a technology that is changing the world and giving people, once again, an opportunity especially for the younger generations from my generation, which is Generation X, Generation Y, millennials, you know, they now have an opportunity to do something. They have now an opportunity to have some wealth. I remember sitting at the table with my father, my real dad, and he said to me, why don't you go to school and retire like I did? Because he retired from Kodak. And my stepmother was a professor with the State University of New York. So she had her pension from the state of New York. And, you know, you could almost see it, pull down the glasses, looking down the nose at you. And as a Gen Xer, I'm like, are you guys clueless? Do you have any idea what that would take? About the only way that someone in my generation can do that is to go work for the government. I could have gone back in the military. I could have and finished my 20 years or 30 years. I tried to please my family. I went to nursing school. I went to go work at the VA. I lasted about, I think, 3 weeks. I did my training and then I went to my post and worked at the Veterans Administration. I saw how corrupt it was and how they didn't take care of people like they're supposed to. So I quit and went back to the private sector and the hospitals. And when my parents said that, I'm like, man, how out of touch are you? And I know a lot of you guys feel the same way, that the baby boomers are totally out of touch with how the world works now and how retirement isn't really an option. There's no way that we can do it unless they work for government. And we saw during all these lockdowns and everything that the only people that were really doing well, it seems kind of odd, are the people that worked for government agencies, people that worked in sanctioned jobs like healthcare industry, doing their TikTok videos. And it really saddened me to see that, not standing up for people, even though privately having talks with my friends, fellow nurses, that were saying that their hospitals were empty. Really bugged me. But all I could do is get out my megaphone and lose thousands of connections because I was kind of an asshole. I was unfollowing people, unfriending. It was really hard. So what crypto has done for us, I'm gonna try to stay on point here. What crypto has done for us has given us an opportunity for the last 4 generations to have retirement, to be able to enjoy our older years. Look, I'm 40, I just turned 47. So it's possible now, as long as they don't destroy this shit, it's possible that I could retire. All right, at this age. And most people can't say that. I know none of my friends can. Even the ones that got into Hex, they're doing okay. They've all made some decent money. Their portfolios are growing, and hopefully Hex will continue to grow, and Pulse Chain will grow, and P Hex and all that. And then when I could revisit this and have another conversation about this topic in 3 or 4 years, and they can say the same things that people like myself, Bran and Joe, and everybody are saying now, that look, we're doing pretty well, and it's all thanks to Hex. I did very well in crypto before, but I wasn't very wise. I didn't have something called a lockup and a truth engine. If you guys know what that is, I'm going to go into that. So back in 2014, 15, 16, 17, when I was stacking my Bitcoin and I was trading using leverage, I'd regularly get liquidated because I didn't know what I was doing. I was learning, right? I'd regularly, for example, my Dash coins, I had a bunch of dark coin before it became Dash. And when Dash came out, I'm like, oh, cool, great. This is a better wallet. I sent all my dark coin directly to my Dash wallet, not knowing that I had to do some intermediary, something in the middle to make sure that my dark coins went properly into my Dash wallet. I lost all my Dash. And that's back when Dash was probably I guess $3 or $4. That was a nice house, gone forever. Stuck. And one of my friends was one of the people that working on Dash, a developer for Dash. He couldn't help me. He's like, oh man, you fucked up. But those are the learning days, right? Then Hex comes along. I stopped trading. I looked at long time horizons. I lock up my coins. I can't touch them. Old Randy would, everything, if something did a 1x or 2x, I would take a chunk off the table. Be like, hey, great. I just doubled my money. But Hex fixed that. And I'm a day one Hexagon, even though it's not as good as the day 25 Hexagons. I bought all my Hex the first week that it came out. And then I bought again starting in March, I'll reiterate. So I missed that sweet spot that a lot of you guys got. Still okay, man. I did fine. But thank you to Richard and our community for supporting such a wonderful thing and getting people like me who are natural gamblers. Look, guys, I like to gamble. I went to the casino the other day. I lost $200. Just saying that people like me having a truth engine that locks up our coins is the best possible thing that we could have. So I recommend anybody who's watching this, if you're not a Hexagon yet, get into it. Hex.com. Start staking your coins, thinking about your future, friends and family, my mom, my brother. I mean, people are all coming into the Hex community. I think it's great. My best friend's involved. Everybody I know in Panama that is close to me, I'm telling them, look, open some stakes. Vermilion says, I'm 43, so you know how indoctrinated our younger generations are from our shit school system. Yeah, man. Yeah. Dan Pena. He says the West is a failed society. But I'm just thinking, just because you're using Dan Pena's picture and his name, that's so funny. Ecom Tomcat says, hello, Randy. What's up, buddy? Yeah, this is Rome. And instead of losing a bunch of generations, we could fix this and tell everybody you can. You know what's so funny is Hex, the way we do it, the way we talk, it does sound like network marketing sometimes. We're like, oh, tell your friends and family. But we're not doing it because we're trying to profit off of them. We're doing it because we want to save their asses. That's the big difference. I want everybody to enjoy the future like I'm going to enjoy the future. And that's the truth, right? I want you guys, like, who was just, it was Hex Panda. Hex Panda lives in Costa Rica, and they had to do their border run. Like I was telling you earlier, every 6 months you need to get out, leave the country and go somewhere else. So he contacted me. He's like, hey, Randy, do you mind if we get together? I'm coming down to Panama with my family. I said, absolutely. So we had a great time. I think it was last Friday, 2 Fridays ago. We went out to the Panama Canal, had a beautiful day. His 2 kids and his wife and my wife and my child went and fed the monkeys, the capuchin monkeys and the tamarind monkeys, and saw the big ships and the huge cranes and the dredgers and the tugboats and all that kind of stuff. We're in the middle of the jungle. It was just a beautiful day. And I'd never met him before, right? Didn't know him from Adam, but thanks to Hex, we got something in common. That's really nice. Vin RXX. Yo, what's up, buddy? John says, there are a lot of us that think this way. The media just wants us to believe otherwise. Man, guys, I'm telling you, I get lots of private messages. Kevin says, thanks. Always on the fence for Hex, but Randy just now convinced me. Yeah, man. Come on over. These are the things that I tell people, because like even my friend that owns the homestead here in Panama, he didn't look into Hex. He just did a quick search and he's like, oh, this looks like MLM type stuff. We had a referral program in the first year, so it makes it look like MLM, right? But My argument is I got into crypto to have something that was decentralized, something that did not need to have middlemen, something that I don't need the banking system, something that I could use peer-to-peer, and something that hopefully will go up in value someday. But that wasn't a priority when I got in, because when I got into Bitcoin, it went down for 2 years afterwards. I kept buying DCA, dollar cost average. But I really got in for the tech. And people think that's bullshit, but that's only because when 2017 hit, it changed the whole dynamic of crypto. And it brought in a lot of different types of people. When I first got in, it was anarcho-capitalists and libertarians. And if you guys don't even, anybody there knows a libertarian, libertarians are all about taking down the system. Anarcho-capitalists, not too much. Most of us are more like, I just don't want to deal with it. But libertarians are like, we're taking this motherfucker down. Yeah. So check it out, Kevin. It really is great. And set up your laddering stakes. Use Staker app. I'm sure one of the guys, they could post their code in here for you, and you can use that. And you can do everything right on your phone. And it uses Gnosis Safe, which is, I consider, the safest wallet in crypto because it uses 24-word seed phrase. And that's the best. So even if the Staker app does go down, you still have access to your hex, right? John Lawson says, do you use Monero? No, I do not. And it's not because I don't like Monero. It's just I like Pirate Chain, and I do have some. That's the only privacy coin I own now. I was on the launch team for Epic Cash, which was a Mimblewimble project, and I still have some, but not much. I mean, less than $200 worth, I think. But I just hold them just in case it moons, right? But I like Pirate Chain, and the reason why is because they're building a lot of stuff around it, and it's fun. I like more of the meme thing for it. I met Fluffy Pony from Monero, and here we used to have a Bitcoin embassy right on the waterfront here, and Fluffy came, and he had a thing for my wife. My wife's hot, so Fluffy followed her around like a puppy dog, and he said to me, we were discussing crypto, and this had to be September, October, November of 2017, somewhere in that time frame. And one thing that clearly stuck out in my mind, and the reason why I've never got into Monero, is he said, we never built Monero to be a store of value. He said, Monero is a transactional currency. And that's all it is, because I don't think people should be using it for a store of value. And when he said that to me, I never wanted it. I've had people send me some, and I just cash it out, right? I put it in other coins I like. I'm hoping with the launch of Pulse Chain, I'm hoping that Richard and the team add some privacy features to Pulse Chain. I think that'd be really cool. I do believe money should be private. One of the cool features, I admit, of Hex is that you get to see everything that's happening on the chain. So you can know when to schedule your stakes and those kind of things. And you get to see when people start selling their Hex and follow which wallets are doing it, because we're really decentralized. And that's the truth about Hex, man. No other crypto I know of is tracked like we can track. But privacy it's a vital aspect. I don't know how we're going to deal with it for Hex. Personally, my end of the year prediction for Hex was 2.5 cents. We're way past 2.5 cents now. Who knows? It still could drop there, possible, but I never thought we would go over 2.5. I thought 2.5 cents was the end game. I didn't think we'd come back down to it. So we've far surpassed what I thought Hex could do. And I never thought about privacy when it came to it, just because the amount of money that we were putting in Hex, and many of us are putting in Hex, we never thought it would grow to what it's grown to. just to be real here, right? So that's that. All right, let's recap. It's almost midnight here. I'm gonna go through the tweet again from Ted Cruz. Let's make it bigger this time. All right, he says, crypto got screwed tonight. There's a partisan disagreement on spending, so Dems objected to all further amendments. That means no vote on Wyden and Loomis to lessen the damage this bill would do to crypto, and no vote on the Cruz amendment to repeal the new crypto rules altogether. The result, the Senate's going to inflict billions of dollars of damage on the growing and exciting crypto industry and drive much of it overseas. There aren't 5 senators who understand much of anything about crypto. What the Senate said tonight, let's tax the hell out of something we know nothing about so we can pass a giant bill we haven't read and spend the American people's money on stuff we can't afford. It's reckless and harmful. Damn straight. Reckless and harmful. Let's cause brain drain. Companies are going to move overseas. Money, the wealth is going to leave and move overseas. I mean, just think about what we're hearing within the Hex community. Everybody's looking to go to Puerto Rico. Ragnar says, how do you get your stuff out of the country? Your crypto out of the country? You can have it up here, man. Put your seed phrase in your head. Tattoo it and use a black, what's it, one of those black lights? I don't know. Write it on your arm with a black light so you get down here, then you can write it down on paper. Who knows? There's a million ways. If you're talking crypto, there's a million ways to get your money out. John Lawson, 2.5 cents. Nice, man. That's lower than my average. Janet Yellen is behind the bill. Is she really? Yeah. I saw what dollar cost crypto was tonight on his show. He was showing all the different events. She does all these live streams on Zoom, and some of these companies are paying her 40, 50 grand. I saw one $300,000 that she was paid just to show up on a live stream. Speaking engagement fees. Unbelievable. People are so corrupt. Yeah, capital flight. That's what's going to happen, guys. I mean, they go where money goes, where it's treated best. My family, my ancestors, they didn't feel comfortable in Italy anymore. I know my last name's Hilarski, but like most Americans, I'm a mutt. They left and they moved to the United States and they opened up a candy company and did very well until the 1920s when everybody lost everything, right? And the one other thing let's chit chat about is if you guys haven't read the book, The Fourth Turning, check it out. And it talks about cycles, and we're going through multiple cycles right now. It's every 100 years, and this is the end of a cycle. And usually it ends up in World War at the end of a cycle. So we'll see where we go. There's that whole saying. It says, strong men, you guys might want to fix it for me. Strong men make great times breed weak men, and weak men make bad times, something like that. Well, weak men are making bad times right now. And then it takes strong men to fix it up. Lights out, what's up, brother? So read the book, The Fourth Turning. It really lays it out. I mean, I read this book when I was working as a nurse on night shift. That's when I read this book back, I think 2004, 2003. So it's been around a while. These guys are very prophetic. They really researched the whole cycle thing. And another person to watch is Mark Moss. If you guys know who Mark Moss is, he's got a great channel on YouTube. It talks about finance. He's a real estate investor, and he also invests in crypto. And he talks about there's 3 different types of cycles to look at. There's like the socioeconomic cycle, there's the finance cycle, and there's one more. I can't remember what the third one was, but he's got 3 videos on the cycles. Go watch his videos, and he's going to explain very well that we are reaching a crescendo of 3 different cycles. It takes 400 years with the longest cycle. So all three of them are coming together right now over the next 10 years. So, when the World Economic Forum, their whole thing is 2030, right? 2030 is when they want their world the way they want it to be. And they took down their video where they said, you will own nothing and you'll love it. Remember that video? Did you guys see that video? Pretty scary. You will own nothing and you're going to love it. Thank you, Mr. Klaus Schwab. Scumbag. You're looking straight from where we have a joke amongst our anarcho-capitalist community. We call him, the Fourth Reich. Yeah, Ecom Topcat says the possible setup is World War III, U.S. versus China, with Russia finishing off the U.S. after China is wiped out. Yeah. I'm glad I live in Panama, even though I have a canal in my backyard. Very strategic piece of property. I, might have to move up to the Costa Rica border to avoid all that shit. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to sign out. I thank everybody who's watched. Please give me a like. And this video will be it'll stay on YouTube, and it'll also be on Library/Odyssey for you to watch. And tomorrow I'll post to Steemit, DTube, Hive, and all those places. But I'm losing my voice. It's time to go to bed. Love you all. Keep buying hex. Stake that hex. Don't worry about the price. Just have a long time horizon, and you'll all be all right. All right. Cheers.